Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is going to be about poop, about constipation, about fiber, what a normal bowel movement looks like, the amount of time that you go to the bathroom, etc., etc. So if you're interested, keep watching. So the first thing I'm going to explain is that if with constipation. So constipation is either not going to the bathroom or you are going to the bathroom, but it's taking a long time. It's the stool is hard. It's uncomfortable. All this kind of stuff. We all know we've all been constipated. It's horrible. Especially the longer it goes, is horrible. So basically, most people go to the bathroom every day. Some people go every time they eat. So some people go 3 times a day. Some people go every day. Some people go 3 times a week. Everybody is different. I mean, ideally, you should be going every day. But according to statistics that I viewed, at least 3 times a week is, I guess, acceptable. Anything less than 3 times a week is not good. So, I mean, again, ideally, you should be going every day. So, constipation is brutal for anyone who's ever experienced it. For those of you who don't know, I had a ruptured aneurysm at the end of May. I was put on a lot of pain medication in the hospital, which I'm not used to, and I was constipated like for 8 days the first time, 6 days the second time, and another 6 days the third time. So it was just grueling. I'm happy to say I'm back being regular, and I'm no longer taking pain medication. But this is something that causes a lot of people are on medication for pain, and a lot of medications do cause constipation, especially when used over a long period of time. So it can be very difficult when you're on a pain medication, and I understand that there is a need for it, but that's pretty much the biggest reason that a lot of people are constipated. A lot of reason people are constipated too is because of the way they eat. So statistics show time and time again that most people are not getting enough fiber in their diet. If you're looking at grams, we should have at least 30 grams of fiber in our diet a day. Many people don't have 2, 4, 6. Like it's crazy. They're not eating a diet with substantial fiber in it. When you are increasing fiber in your diet, you have to do this slowly. If you do not do this slowly, you're going to get stomach ache. You are going to get gas, like unbelievable gas, and you might actually end up getting even a little more constipated. Things might get worse before they get better. So always, always proceed with caution when adding fiber to your diet or extra fiber to your diet. Also, before I speak any further, I must say if you're suspicious that there's something else going on, you should see your doctor before doing anything that might jeopardize an otherwise condition that you're not aware of. So always, always see your doctor about these issues. So we're going to start off by talking about fiber. So fiber, there are 2 types of fiber. There's insoluble fiber and soluble fiber. So soluble fiber is food and fiber that is easily absorbed with water. So to think of it this way, picture making like a whole grain oatmeal, and when you put the water in the oatmeal, like how it soaks up the water. That's a soluble fiber. That's an example of a soluble fiber. An insoluble fiber would be something like celery. If you add water to a piece of celery, it's not going to soak up the water. So that's basically the difference in what those fibers do in your body. So some foods that are really great, again, proceed with caution when you're introducing a lot of these new foods to your diet, is like whole grains, whole grain breads, not whole wheat, whole grain breads, or ground flax seeds. And it's important with flax seeds to make sure they're ground. If you just buy flax seeds, if you do end up going to the bathroom, they're just going to come out the same way they went in, which is not necessarily a bad sign for other foods, because I'm going to mention other foods that kind of do that. But it's just that there's also benefits to flax seeds that you're not going to get if your body's not absorbing it. So ground flax seeds always. Chia seeds are fantastic for fiber. But make sure you're not adding so much at a time, again, to make your stomach uncomfortable and gas and all that stuff. Some other ones are going to be fruits and vegetables. Not all fruits and not all vegetables have, a lot, like as much fiber in them. They're comparative. But most fruits and most vegetables, if added, will add roughage or fiber to your diet and give you a better chance at being a little more regular. Lemon water in the morning is wonderful with room temperature water. Again, most people will, when they take this in the morning, they will have a bowel movement shortly after. So if you have any condition that, you have chronic diarrhea or any other conditions, you want to be careful with this because, and it doesn't always work with everybody. As I always say, holistically, everybody's different, but a little lemon water in the morning is, going to get you going a little bit. And you usually have that with room temperature water. Put a little bit of lemon in the water, and you do this 20 minutes before you eat or drink anything. And you'll get used to this too as you go on. It's one of the oldest remedies known to man. It also has a lot of other health benefits, so you could try that as well. Again, it doesn't work, give everybody a bowel movement, but a lot of people report that they do. Other things would be like, the old prunes, figs. You could try those. If you're having problems with constipation, you could try olive oil. Olive oil is lubricates the colon. Also, fish oil, which is a supplement, which I take every day. Fish oil is great for this. Fish oil is great for a lot of things, but taken on a daily basis, something like fish oil could really help as well with constipation. Another supplement that is great for constipation is magnesium, specifically magnesium citrate. But I do take another form of magnesium that I take for body aches and headaches and things like that, and it works just as well. But magnesium citrate apparently is a bit better if you're taking it for constipation. This works very well, and you could even double up a little bit on magnesium. The worst thing that's going to happen is you might have some loose stools. But nothing else really serious is going to happen. But, just stick to whatever the bottle says or whatever the liquid says that you're taking. Stick to that dose until you know what's going to happen in your body. Always just stick to that dose. And as I mentioned, coffee. Coffee works for a lot of people. Not to say that you're going to go crazy now and have, 10 coffees a day. One coffee sometimes does it for people. If you do drink coffee, it does have a stimulating effect. It's a stimulant, and it has a bit of a stimulating effect on the on bowel movements as well. Just checking to see if I forgot. I know beets are something that's a vegetable. Beets always work for me, and beets are one of these examples that comes out the way it looked going in. Sort of be gross, but it's true, right? We're talking about poop, so I mean, these things are gonna come up. So beets come out the same as they did going in. So don't be, freaking out that you have like this red stuff coming out. They're just beets, and that's how they come out. The other thing is, speaking of red coming out when you're pooing, if you have any blood when you go to the bathroom, you have to go to the doctor. Just to be safe, don't mess around with that. Go to the doctor. I mean, it could just be a hemorrhoid, and I should say just, because hemorrhoids are extremely painful. Depending on the size and location of the hemorrhoid, they can be really, really painful and not easy to live with. But I'm just saying, in comparison to cancer, it's a hemorrhoid, right? So, but you never know. So you always have to be careful. If there's any blood that is coming out, again, go to the doctor. Tell the doctor what's going on. Just checking, see if I forgot any foods that I've mentioned. Exercise. So we have to move our bodies. It's really good to move your body in terms of bowel movements. This is why when we take our dog for a walk, our dog poops, because our dogs are moving and it's stimulating the bowels. And it works the same with humans. So when you move, if you're like, I was bedridden for I think 3 weeks, and that didn't help my constipation issues because I was not moving. So it's important, no matter how little, whatever it is that you can manage, make sure that you keep moving to get the bowel stimulated. Fluids are so important, especially water. I'm just going to say you have to drink a lot of water to have healthy bowel movements. And make sure, when we're dehydrated, dehydration does nothing for constipation. So a lot of water to get, the flow moving in the bowels, get everything moving nicely along. Water is also really good for you. So just make sure your water intake is like right up there. if you're dealing with any constipation issues. Just checking. Oh, yes. So I have a note book here. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything because I always do. So make time to poop. This sounds nuts, right? But so many people don't make time to poop. So, I mean, think about it. You get up, if whether you're working or you have kids, you're getting them ready for school, rushing around, doing this, making breakfast, making lunch, whatever you're doing, and you didn't have time to poop. So it's really important. A doctor told me this 30 something years ago, and it really helped me because back then I was really constipated and I wasn't making the time to poop. I was rushing around, and sometimes you have that sensation that you have to go and you ignore it. Don't ignore it. The longer you go without going, it's going to be painful. The stool is going to be hard, and sometimes it only is like comes half out and you can still feel the other half in you, and you got to go do something, and it's not a pleasant feeling at all. So make the time to poop. You are worth it. Your butt is worth it. So make the time to poop. And again, when you get that sensation, go to the bathroom. Don't put it off. Make the time to go in the morning, especially if you can, or whenever the urge comes throughout the day. Give yourself that time. Go into the bathroom. Don't strain. If you possibly can help it, you can avoid hemorrhoids that way. So don't strain when you're trying to poop. Don't try to rush. Let it take its time. Now, if you're taking longer than 15 minutes, I would say, to have a bowel movement, you need to tell your doctor that too, because that's not good on your body. It's not good, again, to strain. And it's especially if you feel that sensation there and nothing's really happening. Another good reason to go to your doctor. So I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. Oh, no, I wanted to explain what a healthy bowel movement looks like. So there are so many different bowel movements, different looks. We all know because we all have bowel movements and we're like, oh, that's interesting. Sometimes there's all types of different bowel movements. A healthy bowel movement would be consistency of, like, let's say a banana, like long, like a snake or a banana, sort of thing, consistency. It should be soft. It should not be hard coming out and hurt. It should be soft, and it should just sort of like, easily flow out. That's a really good bowel movement. There are other ones that are okay, and there are other ones that are not great, and I can do a whole video on just bowel movements. But we should be having a healthy bowel movement at least every 1 to 3 days in there somewhere. It shouldn't be going on for a long time that we're not having healthy bowel movements. So again, this is really important to health. It's really important to keep things flowing and, not to have all these toxins building up in our body. So I hope this was helpful, and I'm going to end off with a really funny story about myself that I experienced. So when I was constipated out of the hospital and losing my mind, now to let you know, this is how serious constipation is. I had a brain aneurysm, and when I left the hospital, this is what they told me. If you get a really bad headache, which is related to the brain aneurysm, like so bad, like the one you had before, you need to go back to emergency. Or if you're constipated. Like they put it on the same thing. If you get so constipated, because it happened to be in the hospital, and it happens a lot with pain meds, as I mentioned earlier, they said if you get that constipated, if it goes that long, you have to go to the hospital. So that just tells you how serious it is. Like, lots of people go to the hospital for this too. There is no shame in it. People go to the hospital for gas. They don't even know they're having gas. They're in so much pain. It's painful. So don't be ashamed. I mean, they see people like this all the time. And this is something that we do not talk about with other people. I tell you, I talk about it all the time because when I was so severely constipated and almost was hospitalized a second time due to constipation, I do talk about it freely and openly because you don't appreciate having a good bowel movement until you can't have one. So what I've started to do, and laugh all you want, it's okay, I don't care. Once I started resuming regular bowel movements again, and I didn't have to go back to the hospital, and everything was good, mostly because I got off my pain medication, and I was like very diligent in the way I was eating and my water consumption and my magnesium, and I mean everything came back great, and I'm happy to say. But I was so appreciative when everything went back to normal that I've started a new daily thing that every time I go to the bathroom, I have this little song. I'd play it for you, but I'm probably going to get in trouble for copyright on YouTube, so I'm not going to play it. But it's a song called the Poo Poo Dance, and I found it on YouTube, and it's just this fun beat. And you know, every time I poo, I have a celebration dance because my God, am I so grateful for this. Right? And those of you who have experienced this, you understand what I'm talking about. So be grateful for every poop. Do a little dance. You know, I do my whole dance in front of my dog and in front of my boyfriend, and he just laughs, and like my dog just looks at me like I'm nuts. But you can do it privately. I mean, you don't even have to tell anybody you're doing it. I literally do this dance like every day, sometimes 2 times a day, sometimes 3 times a day. And I'm so appreciative because you don't want to be where I was or where most people are, where you're having issues going to the bathroom. Again, it's something we do not talk about. I think everybody should be talking about it. I think we should be every doctor should be asking their patients about their bowel movements. As a nutritionist, a registered holistic nutritionist, it's one of the first things we do when we are dealing with a client. It's one of the first things we ask you. We ask you, you know, how are your bowel movements? How many do you have? How regular are they? What do they look like? What do they smell like? Yes, we talk about this all the time. So if you have any questions that you don't want to ask me on here because you are embarrassed or shy, first of all, you shouldn't be. But if you are, I understand. You can write to me privately, and I will, you know, see what I can do to help you out. Okay, so I am Nutralicious on Facebook. I am Lexi.velvet on Instagram, and here I am on YouTube. So thank you so much. If you found this useful, you can share this video. You can give me feedback anytime. Happy to help. Be well, and I will talk to you soon. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Okay, take care. Bye.